What's going on, YouTube, and welcome to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are taking a look at the first round series matchup, the rematch of last year's first round series in the Atlantic Division. The number 2 seed Toronto Maple Leafs and the number 3 seed Tampa Bay Lightning. Can the Tampa Bay Lightning avenge the potential team looking to overthrow them in the Atlantic and the Toronto Maple Leafs, or will the Lightning continue their dominance over the Leafs in the playoffs this season? We're going to take a look at that today. So the storylines for this series are pretty simple. For the Leafs, what has it been, 15, 16 years since they've won a playoff series? Yeah, that's right. That's the longest in the league. Yes, including Arizona and Buffalo and some of these poor franchises that you look around the league. The Leafs are the longest drought in terms of winning a playoff series. So it's been pretty rough for the Leafs. And they think this is the year. And I think there's a lot of reason for optimism. They've played really well this season. They've done well in their matchups this season. Their 3 matchups against the Lightning, winning 2 of those 3 games against the Bolts. They look bigger. They look meaner. They look nastier. But, of course, there is a little adversity. Ryan O'Reilly's missed the last couple of weeks. Really, he played a week or 2 after the deadline with the Leafs, and then he got injured. So we haven't seen Ryan O'Reilly for a little while. He will likely start in Game 1 of the playoffs. I think it's more precautionary, but some adversity with the injury bug there. Also, Matt Murray, not going to be playing this playoffs. That's kind of the assumption at this point, unless things change. Matt Murray will not be in the playoffs, which means it's Ilya Samsonov's show to win a round or potentially no longer be with the Toronto Maple Leafs if they don't get past the first round this summer. There's a lot riding on this for Kyle Dubas, Brendan Shanahan. I think all this Leafs management is really, this series means more to them than most playoff series in the past. I think a lot of change could be coming if they lose this playoff series once again. This is critical for the Leafs that they find some way to win that series. For the Lightning, 3 Stanley Cup final appearances over the last 3 years. 2 Stanley Cups. Not too bad. Of course, there's some adversity down in the Sunshine State for the Lightning as well. A couple of key injuries up front. Tanner Jeannot, Brandon Hagel. I believe Cirelli was also out as well for a couple of weeks, and he might still be out. Eric Chernak was banged up a little bit. This is a banged up Lightning team, and the storyline around Tampa is it's kind of been feast or famine the last couple weeks. They played some really good games at the end of March. At the end of March, some really big wins over the Capitals and the Hurricanes. But now here in April, just a couple of days and weeks before the Game 1. A 7-4 loss to the Senators, a 6-1 loss to the Islanders, a 6-3 loss to the Rangers. What other games did they lose pretty bad? I think they lost 5-0 to somebody as well. Let's put it this way. It's been a rough run here for the Lightning in the month of April, and it does give you some concern. Is Vasi ready for the playoffs? He hasn't been playing playoff form here down the stretch. So that's the other storyline. Is the injuries, and is Tampa finally going to succumb to, their expiration date? They've played some really long playoff series here over the last couple of years. Is it finally going to catch up with them? Looking at the matchups, forwards, I think I'd give the edge to Toronto. I think it's very close, but the fact there's a couple of injuries, I think I might be officially giving this to the Leafs. I think the Leafs forward group is really deep down the middle and can definitely match up with Tampa Bay at the very least. Maybe not better than, but definitely very similar. Ryan O'Reilly, who we mentioned earlier, John Tavares as your second-line center, one of those two playing on the wing, one of them playing down the middle. Austin Matthews as your first-line center, and of course, Alex Kerfoot as your third-line center. So overall, I really like what they've done there. They've added a couple of good defensemen to this team since the deadline. They brought in Luke Schenn. They brought in David Gustafsson. They've brought in a couple of nice pieces that I think are going to be really important come playoff time. And I think, honestly, right now, that forward group looks as good as it's ever looked for the Toronto Maple Leafs, despite losing some guys over the last couple of years. Michael Bunting has played really well this season. Marner's had some success. They need the best version of William Nylander. Those guys really need to be able to produce. On the back end, I think I have to give the edge to the Lightning. I think the Lightning just overall have a better blue line. It's very close, but again, I think there's some injuries on the Leafs blue line that makes it a little bit easier for me to sit here today and say I think Tampa's got the better blue line. You know, I would say their third pairing is probably their weakest asset right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But yeah, you look at some of the injuries. This is kind of the problem with the Leafs here. You know, Jake Muzzin, Eric Gustafsson, Victor Mete. Those are three defensemen right there that are injured right now. So if those are long-term injuries, that could be a real problem for them. Even up front, they haven't had Nick Robertson since December. Obviously, Matt Murray. And he's kind of day-to-day Matt Murray. So maybe he plays in the playoffs, maybe not. Same thing for Sam Lafferty. He's got a couple bumps and bruises. So it's kind of been that situation as well for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So forwards I'll give to the Leafs. Defense I'm giving to the Lightning, even when healthy. And the fact there's a couple of injuries, I'm even more concerned than I would normally be. Then we get to goaltending, and I think that's kind of, I mean, listen, I think every Leafs fan out there would say that Vasilevsky, 1-for-1, is a better goalie than either Matt Murray or Ilya Samsonov. I don't think there's much debate there. It would take a superhuman type of energy, earth-moving energy to really outduel Andrei Vasilevsky. That is a extremely difficult task for whoever's the starting goalie for the Leafs come playoff time. Like I said, the season matchup, 2 wins for the Leafs, and overall in those 3 games, they go 2 for 3. The Lightning only win 1 of those 3. So in that sense, I really think that at the end of the day, regular season only matters so much. It doesn't matter as much as people maybe want it to be, especially in the game they played the other night. It just kind of rock 'em, sock 'em, trying to just build the vibe, but overall, it doesn't really matter come playoff time. Until proven otherwise, I'm going with Tampa. I think Tampa just, what do they always say? The crazy person is the one that keeps betting on the losing horse. There's also the flip side to that. Hey, listen, that lottery machine hasn't won in a million tries, so the 1,000,001th, it's probably going to be a winner. So, depending on how you look at this, I guess it depends on if you're a Lightning fan or a Leafs fan, but I got to go with the Lightning here, and I think that Vasilevsky makes that big of a difference. Like, he really, really does. And he hasn't even been playing that well recently, but I think he's the type of goalie that can just flip that switch. John Cooper is an incredible coach, and I think that will be the difference. I'm giving the Leafs a ton of respect here. It's a 7-game rock'em sock'em series. I got to be honest, it's probably going to be the toughest series that the Lightning play in this playoffs, whether they win or lose. And even if they won the Stanley Cup this year, even Boston, whoever's the best out of the Metro, the best out of the West, I really think this is the series. If Tampa wants to win a 3rd cup in 4 years, I think the biggest test will be this year against the Maple Leafs, because they are going to be hungry, desperate, and everything is on the line for that management. For Keefe, for Dubas, for Shanahan, and I think those players are going to sense that. They are going to give 1,000,000% up there in Toronto for that fan base. If not, we might be seeing some riots up in Toronto. So that's it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know who you guys think this series will be going to the 2nd round with. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. And like I said, stay tuned for the rest of our videos here on the channel, because we are getting ready to do the rest of our playoff series for the rest of this postseason. So stay tuned for that. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Peace.